People get promised. I mean, Trump said yesterday that he's going to have a new cabinet position on inflation, except you don't know anything about it. Like, he's throwing everything against the wall he can, and the third that he does know is usually not right.
What about the brain worm? He has a brain worm.
The brain worm would get its own protective detail. It's more than just what he's doing in Pennsylvania. I think the display of confidence that they're showing about, our polls show that he's ahead in all of these places, is a setup.
Trump just lost his mind on national TV after Christie dropped some truth bombs about his legal troubles. The orange man couldn't handle basic facts and went into full meltdown mode. Is this just another Tuesday for Trump, or was this the biggest tantrum yet? We've got the juicy clips that Fox News doesn't want you to see, and trust me, they're absolutely pathetic. Quick favor before we move on. If you appreciate this content, consider giving this video a like and subscribing to the channel. Believe it or not, more than 92% of viewers haven't subscribed yet. It's free and only takes a second, but it means the world to us. So did you subscribe already? Great, thank you so much for your support. Now back to the video. Christie came out swinging on CNN last night, proving once again that while some Republicans might tiptoe around Trump
Tonight, that there isn't a path for me to win the nomination, which is why I'm suspending my campaign tonight for President of the United States.
He got a hot mic I heard about. I thought actually the bigger story wasn't the fact that he dropped out. Nobody cared too much about that.
I'm going to make sure that in no way do I enable Donald Trump to ever be President of the United States again.
like he's a temperamental toddler with a loaded water gun, Christie's bringing brass knuckles to the playground. The former New Jersey governor sat down with Anderson Cooper and immediately unleashed a tsunami of uncomfortable truths about our former president's legal dumpster fire. "You know what's fascinating about Donald?" Christie asked with that signature smirk of his. "He thinks if he says something enough times, reality will bend to match his words." Christie wasn't there to play patty cake with Trump's ego. While most Republicans these days are busy performing verbal gymnastics to avoid offending the orange overlord.
Your fellow governor, I think you guys were friends, Arnold Schwarzenegger,
Yep.
came out with a very thoughtful endorsement of Kamala Harris, saying he was going to vote for her, that he's really kind of tuned out politics.
All the different things that have happened to him in his life since he left the governorship have led him to be even more reflective about things. So, look, I think everybody who wants to express themselves should. But what it will, and Alyssa, you're right, what it will do is it's a celebrity not endorsing Trump, but endorsing her, and that will really anger Trump.
Yeah.
It's more than just what he's doing in Pennsylvania. I think the display of confidence that they're showing about, our polls show that he's ahead in all of these places, is a setup.
Christie rolled up his sleeves and went full prosecutor mode. Cooper looked genuinely surprised when Christie pulled out specific details from the classified documents case that made Trump look guiltier than a kid with chocolate all over his face denying he ate the cake. "Let's be crystal clear about what happened at Mar-a-Lago," Christie explained. "We're talking about nuclear secrets, information about other countries' defense systems, and intelligence that could endanger our assets abroad, all stuffed into boxes in a bathroom and storage room at a country club." What made Christie's takedown so effective wasn't just what he said, but how he said it. He spoke with the calculated precision of someone who spent years putting criminals behind bars. The former prosecutor dismantled Trump's defenses one by one, like he was performing a legal autopsy. "This isn't complicated," Christie said. "Any first-year law student could tell you that when you're subpoenaed for documents, hiding them in your shower isn't exactly a winning strategy." Christie didn't just throw vague accusations either. He brought charts, timelines, and specifics about the classified documents case that made even Anderson Cooper raise those famous silver eyebrows. "The timeline here matters tremendously," Christie explained. "Trump received a subpoena demanding he turn over all classified materials. Then, and this is the crucial part, he directed his staff to move boxes from one location to another. That's not just obstruction, that's consciousness of guilt." The former governor then did something truly remarkable in today's political climate. He actually acknowledged reality. Trump has built his entire defense strategy on the Presidential Records Act, but that law has absolutely nothing to do with classified documents, Christie said with visible frustration. "It's like being caught robbing a bank and claiming you can't be prosecuted because you have a library card." Christie didn't stop at the documents case either. He methodically listed Trump's pattern of legal deceptions across multiple cases. "Notice how his story keeps changing," Christie pointed out. "First, he had no documents. Then, they were his personal property. Then, he declassified them telepathically. Then, the FBI planted them. The truth doesn't require this many revisions." The interview quickly set social media ablaze. Within hours, clips were spreading faster than fake tan at a mega convention. What made it go viral wasn't just Christie's frank assessment, but the stunned look on Cooper's face. The expression of someone watching a Republican commit the cardinal sin of our era, telling uncomfortable truths about Donald Trump. As the interview approached its climax, Christie leaned forward and delivered the knockout punch. "Here's what Americans need to understand," he said, his voice dropping to emphasize the gravity. The Justice Department has evidence that Trump personally directed his staff to move boxes of classified documents after receiving a subpoena for those exact documents. In legal terms, we call that dead to rights. Christie then revealed the damning surveillance footage showing Trump's employees moving boxes from storage rooms after the subpoena was issued. "The cameras don't lie," Christie said. "When you're instructing your staff to relocate evidence that's been legally demanded by the government, that's not just obstruction of justice. That's a textbook criminal act with Trump's fingerprints all over it." The interview concluded with Christie offering a stark assessment of Trump's legal future. "As someone who's prosecuted hundreds of cases, I'll tell you this. What Trump did would get any other American citizen indicted in about 15 minutes. The only thing special about his case is how much evidence there is." But if Christie's truth bombs were explosive, Trump's reaction was nuclear. While Christie was still on air explaining why Trump's legal defenses were thinner than his comb-over in a windstorm, the former president was already reaching for his phone, thumbs twitching with rage. Those rage-twitching thumbs unleashed what might be the digital equivalent of Chernobyl, as Trump fired off 17 unhinged posts in under 3 hours. The former president's meltdown wasn't just your average tantrum. This was the social media version of throwing every toy out of the pram, lighting the pram on fire, and then blaming the toys for starting it. Within minutes of Christie finishing his CNN appearance, Trump was already hunched over his phone like a teenager who just discovered someone posted an unflattering photo of him. But instead of the carefully crafted responses most politicians would issue through their communications team, Trump went full caveman, smashing at his keyboard with what appeared to be equal parts fury and disregard for the English language. The all caps came out in force. "Christie is a failed governor who ate too many donuts," screamed one post, making Nigerian princes everywhere jealous of his spam email formatting skills. Reading through Trump's tirade feels like watching someone who just discovered the caps lock key and thinks it's the "make my argument stronger" button. Let's talk about the name-calling, shall we? Trump referred to Christie as Sloppy Chris Christie at least 7 times, really stretching his nickname creativity to its breaking point. He also called him Dumbbell Chris, apparently a step down from his usual dummy insult, Fat Pig Christie, because body shaming is very presidential, and my personal favorite, Mr. Blimpy, which honestly sounds more like a rejected McDonald's mascot than an insult. The weird fixation on Christie's weight reached levels that would make actual middle school bullies cringe. One post read, "Christie hasn't met a buffet line he didn't like. SAD." Another claimed Christie once ate all the desserts at a Republican fundraiser before anyone else got to the table. Because nothing says "I'm a stable genius" like food-based insults that wouldn't pass muster in a 3rd-grade playground. Trump's spelling throughout this digital tantrum was, in a word, spectacular. He spelled prosecutor as prosecutor 3 different times. He referred to the Presidential Records Act, missing the I in presidential. My favorite might be when he called Christie a "loosing candidate," apparently confusing losing with what happens when you forget to tighten something. It honestly looked like he was typing with those tiny cocktail sausages they serve at fancy parties. The wild tangents were where things got truly bizarre. Out of nowhere, Trump started ranting about Christie's failed 2016 presidential run. Then he jumped to accusing Christie of begging for a cabinet position. Next came a bizarre claim that Christie once cried when I wouldn't let him eat an extra scoop of ice cream. The topics swung wildly from border security to windmills. Yes, windmills. To a random attack on Christie's time as governor of New Jersey. According to sources close to Trump, his advisors were desperately trying to wrestle the phone away from him during this meltdown. One unnamed aide reportedly said, "It was like trying to take a bone from a rabid dog. We kept saying, sir, please, this isn't helping," but he just growled and kept typing. Another source claimed they finally gave up after Trump locked himself in his bathroom to continue his posting spree undisturbed. The final tally, 17 separate posts in under 3 hours, averaging 1 rage post every 10 minutes. Political analysts are calling it potentially the most unhinged social media tirade in presidential history. One historian noted, even Nixon at his drunkest only dictated angry thoughts to a tape recorder. He never published them for the world to see. The timing is particularly telling. This wasn't a measured response after careful consideration. This was pure, unfiltered rage spilling onto the internet faster than Trump's advisors could damage control it. It had all the hallmarks of a man completely losing his cool. Repetition, personal attacks, random capitalization, and a complete abandonment of any coherent argument. It's worth noting that nowhere in Trump's 17-post tirade did he actually address any of Christie's substantive points about the classified documents case. Not a single rebuttal to the legal arguments. Not one counterpoint to the timeline Christie laid out. Just insults, bizarre claims, and all-caps assertions of his inno. Behind all those all-caps rants and donut jokes lies a terrifying truth for Trump. Christie didn't just criticize him. He exposed the private Republican conversations that could end Trump's political career. When someone who once led Trump's transition team starts spilling insider tea this hot, it's no wonder the former president had a digital meltdown. What makes Christie such a dangerous adversary isn't just his legal knowledge. It's that he's sat in the rooms where Republican leaders speak freely about Trump when they think no one's listening. Christie knows exactly which nerves to hit because he's been part of the inner circle, and boy did he hit them with the precision of a surgeon wielding a hammer. The real bomb Christie dropped wasn't about classified documents or subpoenas. It was his casual revelation that Republican Party bigwigs are actively trash-talking Trump behind closed doors. According to Christie, when the cameras turn off and the doors close, Republican leadership describes Trump as unstable, vindictive, and increasingly disconnected from reality. One GOP senator allegedly told Christie that dealing with Trump was like babysitting a drunk uncle who keeps trying to drive the family car. Christie also revealed something Trump's campaign has desperately tried to bury: internal polling numbers that show Trump losing badly in key swing states. While Trump's team parades cherry-picked polls showing him ahead, Christie claims to have seen the campaign's actual data showing Trump trailing by significant margins in Pennsylvania, Michigan, and Wisconsin. They know he's losing, Christie said. That's why they're panicking and why he's getting more unhinged by the day. Even more damaging was Christie's revelation about Republican donor money. While Trump brags about his fundraising prowess, Christie exposed that major Republican donors are quietly funneling millions into contingency funds designed to support alternative candidates if Trump implodes. According to Christie, at least 3 billionaire donors who publicly support Trump have privately set up PACs with the specific goal of having funds ready for a Trump alternative. Perhaps the most devastating reveal was about Trump's own legal team. Christie claims to have spoken with 2 members of Trump's defense team who privately admitted they don't believe his innocence. They're not defending him because they think he's innocent, Christie said. They're defending him because that's their job, and they're trying to find technical loopholes to keep him out of prison. According to Christie, one of Trump's attorneys supposedly said, "My job isn't to prove he didn't do it. My job is to make sure they can't prove he did it." Christie didn't stop at legal matters either. He touched on something deeply personal to Trump: his apparent physical and mental decline. Christie described recent private interactions where Trump couldn't remember conversations they'd had just days earlier, repeatedly told the same stories without realizing it, and seemed to struggle with basic facts. "This isn't the same guy I knew in 2016, Christie reportedly said. "He's slower, more confused, and his temper is worse than ever." The most nuclear revelation of all? Christie claims that members of Trump's inner circle, including people currently working for him, are actively discussing contingency plans to replace him as the nominee. According to Christie, there have been at least 3 secret meetings with Republican National Committee officials about the what-if scenarios that would trigger an emergency replacement. Christie didn't name names, but implied that several people very close to Trump are involved in these discussions. For a man as obsessed with loyalty as Trump, learning that his own team is planning for his potential replacement must feel like the ultimate betrayal. No wonder he immediately reached for the all-caps button and started firing off insults faster than his lawyers quit. Trump's digital meltdown wasn't just about Christie criticizing his legal defense. It was about Christie pulling back the curtain on the private Republican conversations that could destroy him. Christie didn't just hit a nerve. He exposed the entire nervous system, and based on Trump's reaction, those nerves are already severely frayed. The former governor essentially confirmed what many have suspected. Behind Trump's bravado, behind the crowd sizes and the social media bravado, is a man increasingly isolated even within his own party, facing legal peril that his team doesn't believe he can escape, and watching his grip on the Republican Party slowly slip away. So what have we learned from this Christie-Trump showdown? When someone speaks actual truth about the Donald, he goes full nuclear meltdown mode. It's like watching a strongman competition where the only weight being lifted is Trump's phone to type all-caps rants. The pattern is clear. Trump can dish it out all day long, but the moment someone serves him a cold plate of reality, he crumbles faster than a sandcastle in a hurricane. Next time you see an orange alert on your social media, remember this isn't just another tantrum. It's a man terrified that voters might actually hear the truth his own party whispers behind closed doors.